Welcome back to Perrine Party of
Two.
Two. This is episode 5, and we missed you guys. And we are here today to tell you all about
Wedding planning.
wedding planning.
And all that entailed.
Yeah, we left off last time after telling the story of the engagement down at Peacock Beach in Florida, the proposal.
Yep.
And so today we figured we'd dive in and tell you guys all about what it's like to plan a wedding.
If you don't know, you're about to know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like I think the good advice that we got right at the beginning was just pick a date. And I think like right away, once we got engaged, everyone was like, well, when's the wedding? When's the wedding? When's the wedding? So it was good that we already were like, pick a date. We're going to pick a date.
Yeah.
Because that's the first question everybody asks. So
that's the first thing on our list. Yeah. So I think that was the first thing we knocked out was find a venue and pick a date. Or
I think the
date,
venue had to go with the date, actually, now that I think about it.
Yeah.
Because you can just be like, oh, we want to get married on this date. And then, like, you find your dream venue and they don't have that date. So why don't you share do you want to share about how we got the venue, or do you want me to start with that?
Yeah. So we're in Nashville, Tennessee. So we just started brainstorming, started Googling, started looking on social media, just trying to figure out what are our options, what's available, what is there in or around Nashville where we could get married, and a place that we would both enjoy, a place that we would both agree on, a place that, you know, if she wanted a barn and I wanted a church, then it would have been kind of tough. So thankfully, I think we kind of had a similar vision of like what we had hoped for, and we got it. But for us, it was kind of just nail down, okay, like how many people do we think we're going to have? Because that's going to play a big role in what venue we choose. Because if you are expecting, I think near the end we had 180 or something.
Yeah,
and so
that actually showed up. Yeah.
If you choose a 50 capacity venue, like that kind of limits your options. It's going to be family only.
Yeah. That one we went to, it was like, they advertised, I think, like 200 or something, but the actual ceremony space was gorgeous. And they were like, yeah, you can maybe sit 100 people in here. And we're like, what do you mean?
Yeah.
Oh, you can put people on the sides and in the back.
They can go stand over there to the side in the grass and watch from over there.
That doesn't really work for us. So,
yeah. I think the biggest parts for the venue was how many people can we actually have there? Mm-hmm. What is it going to cost? Is this something that's even in our ballpark that we could scrap together, or is this like never in a million years are we going to be able to have a wedding here? I think just trying to think of what other reasons we kind of lean towards venues, location. We wanted something close to town so that people that are flying in wouldn't have to rent a car or Uber and go, drive an hour and a half, 2 hours to come to our wedding. So trying to be considerate, make it convenient for our friends and stuff.
I remember there were 2 venues that I loved. One was in like Asheville, North Carolina or something. It's called like the Beautiful Wedding Place or something like that, which actually burned down, which was really sad. And then the other one was like this glass chapel that was like the opposite direction. It was out west. Both were like, oh, those are so beautiful and perfect. And that, like you were saying, we're like, we don't want people to have to drive 4 hours this way or like 2 hours this way. Like, we just want people to be able to be here.
Yeah.
Like near town.
I think we also kind of skipped past the choosing Nashville itself was a big step, just because we were like, well, our families are all over. So I think it just kind of made the most sense for us since we've been here for a while. For all of our friends and family, there wasn't really an option of like, oh, like we all live near this city. It's like I've got family in Nevada and California and South Carolina and kind of all over, I think, Wisconsin, and you have family, Washington, Florida, Romania, I think
Brazil.
Nicole was still over there, Brazil.
Yeah.
So
we had people, just flying in from all over. So it didn't even, like you're saying, it's not like we could be like, oh, there's a central spot where our family could meet. It's like, he's from Vegas, I'm from Washington, and there wasn't really a place. And it was like, you know what? It's a lot to plan a wedding. And if you can't even go see the venue or do this, like, in our everyday lives, like, let's just get married in Nashville. So,
Yeah.
like that, we became a destination wedding,
Yeah.
which I never thought I'd be like, you think of destination wedding like Cabo or like Cancun or, Puerto Rico or something. But, yeah, I think what was neat too for that we realized is that a lot of friends, when we would let them know, like, hey, we're getting married in Nashville, I had a lot of people say, like, oh, I've never been to Nashville before, but I've always wanted to. And so we kind of got to be the reason why they got to come to Nashville. And, obviously people flew in early or left, later and got to like explore and just have their own fun Nashville experience. And use us as an excuse, I feel like, in a
Yeah.
good way, in a good way.
I think there was a lot that were like, yeah, I'm going to come a few days early because we want to go see downtown and we want to go see the Opry, or we're
Yeah.
going to stay a few days after the wedding because we want to go see the show, or we want to go see, this Civil War monument. Like there's just, it was interesting that even some people that I wasn't sure would come were super on board to come because they just were like, yeah, I'll come to Nashville. That sounds great.
Yeah. And to see you.
We were both working full time throughout
Yeah.
that whole process. We had 8 months is what we ended up with. And I think we didn't know it at the time. I think we were looking from anywhere from like May to like December or something. And
And
so
I was like, let's get married in May. And Chris was like, oh.
that would be great. But I was like, I think we're going to need a little more time. Like,
Yeah.
I don't want us to like feel like, I don't want us to be stressed and going crazy the whole time. I want us to be able to like have enough time to get everything figured out, feel like, all right, we got it done. We're ready for this, not feel like we're running around last minute getting things, settled. And
I think in a sense, we were like a DIY wedding.
no wedding
We
planner.
didn't have a wedding planner. We were the wedding planners.
Yeah.
I feel like between you, me, and my mom, it was like
Yeah.
we were full on wedding planners.
We
And we did it.
So we narrowed down a few places, went and visited a few. I actually, the venue where we got married at, the Wedding Woods, I went out to go take a look at it because I think you had found it.
Yeah, I had found it. It was actually down the street from my friend's house, and I had seen it a few times. We kind of thought it was too far out of the city, but by the time we started realizing what getting married in the city would cost, we were like, okay, we're going to expand our circle a little bit. We're okay with the
A little bigger bubble.
35 to 45-minute drive is okay if the price makes sense. And so we had emailed them, and we had gone to see another venue that was just very discouraging. I feel like it was a stretch for our budget, but it was kind of the only one that seemed that even we could maybe do.
Yeah.
And we left and we're just like, it smelled and it just, none of it was right. Like there were so many weird parameters.
So I think it was just a lot more than we realized when we went to that first place. And it wasn't as great as we'd.
It wasn't as great. And honestly, like sometimes it's good to see the bad to appreciate the good that you get, because we sat in your truck and were very discouraged, and we got an email. And that email was from the Wedding Woods and them letting us know their price and kind of their specifications and just way more relaxed. I mean, a lot of venues have a lot of parameters and a lot of like rules. And
Yeah.
our venue was very kind and very like, hey, we provide the venue, you show up and have the party. And I feel like that's how we roll.
Yeah,
That's more our style.
I went with Kaden and Olivia to go tour it and FaceTime you in
Yep.
the snow because it was in like January.
Yeah.
And you were at work, and I just remember touring the place. It looked beautiful. I had no idea what it was going to look like in the middle of August.
No.
Because I'm walking around in snow. Yeah. And but I just knew like it seemed really nice from what we had seen. And then I think just talking to the owners there after, I asked him, I was like, okay, so if we're trying to find our own florist and our own, he's like, I don't care, do whatever you want, we're just here to provide the venue and want you to feel like you were the host. This is your
Yeah.
day. You guys can bake your own cake if you want, for all I care. It was nice to have no pressure of these are the people that we have and you have to choose one of them.
Yeah.
And things like that, to where we could kind of more of the DIY, piece together what we could with our budget to build the day that we wanted to have.
Yeah. It was the best day. Honestly, it was so perfect. I feel like there was so much in that 8 months where it felt like it was forever, but it felt like also it went by so fast because we were working so much. And I feel like we picked up any extra shift anywhere, anyhow, anything because
Yeah.
we're planning a wedding. Like all money goes towards the wedding, kind of how it felt.
Think
But
every weekend I was working lacrosse tournaments or basketball tournaments or volleyball
yep,
tournament or any extra work I could find,
yeah, it was
anything to
just
go to the wedding fund.
all hands on deck.
Because we really
Which,
didn't want to like go
yeah,
in the hole.
let's
We
talk about
wanted
that.
to
I feel like that's
be
good.
able to, I think we purposely built our vendors and our catering around like, hey, this is what we have right now.
Hmm.
And we're not going to go, way outside of that. Like we don't want to go into marriage with a, $30,000 in debt from our wedding,
Yeah.
So trying to be realistic, but also like make it the best possible day.
Yeah, and I feel like people had good advice, like, because honestly, you get so much advice when you get married, and like, not all of it's great, but people would tell us pick the one or two things that really mattered to you and let that shape your wedding. Because it's so easy to like see an Instagram or hear someone's story and be like, oh, we should have, fireworks at the end. That would be so cool. Or you're like, we should have a build your own cake station or something. Like, just, you could go so many directions. And I feel like that advice was really good. And we really talked about it. And we're like, well, what matters to us? And it was, hey, the people matter to us. Like us getting married and the people that we love and them getting to come together and celebrate and have a big party. So that was our scope. And anytime we would be like, well, do we want to do this? Do we want to do this? We want to spend $500 over here, $300 over here, like $1,000 over here. We would just like, does it fit our parameter? And I think that was really helpful because, I mean,
Yeah.
we could have gone a million different directions with this. But I feel like we really made it us. We had was it the Friday before? We did like a welcome around,
Yep.
which is a big thing here in Nashville. Chris used to run around here in town. And
Oh, I
so
ran around all over town.
you did, but you ran a round. But that was, I think, like a unique part of us is like we're in the music industry here. And so getting to show all our friends and family that came to town, like, this is kind of what we do here. And like, this is what Chris does. And getting for them to, and all of our friends getting to be part of that was really neat too. And
I
just
think
see the,
that was great because we knew going into it that we weren't going to have a lot of time to sit down and talk one on one with
yeah,
180 different people at the wedding, and so it was kind of a intentional day that we set up of, hey, Friday night the wedding's on Sunday, but Friday night we're gonna go to this venue. We have a list of these are all of our friends that are going to be playing from 4 o'clock till 8 o'clock or something. And so the whole afternoon, evening was just all of our friends and people that
yeah,
we know in the music industry here that were sharing their own songs and getting to play for all of our friends and family from out of town. Well, we got to hang out and have a meal, get to see everybody and catch
yeah.
up. And it was just really special, I think, to have that time before the craziness of the weekend planning and setting up and breaking down. And so I'm really glad we did that.
Yeah, me too. I think that whole weekend was just a testament of our friends, how great our friends are near and far. And people that, people I was looking at it like people I hadn't seen in years, but like we are good friends and we try to stay in touch or whatever. Like people showed up and to support us and it was such a great feeling. And we had like the Saturday setup day. We got married on a Sunday and just like the camaraderie of people showing up to help. And then, the day of our wedding at the end, when we left, we got in the truck and drove off. My mom and dad were kind of like rallying all the troops and getting everything put in cars and stuff. And all that I heard was like, your friends are so great.
Yeah.
They were like, your friends helped with this, this person took all the beer, this person took all this, and this person helped with this, and this person was doing this. And like, you know, because you have all this food and drinks left over at the end of a huge party, and most of it ended up in our house
Yeah.
downstairs. But a lot of people were so gracious and like helped take some of that stuff home and just really helped. And I think that was one of my favorite things about our wedding. I mean, outside of like the wedding itself being
Yeah.
amazing, was just seeing how awesome our friends are and that they showed up. They showed up well and showed up for us really well. So,
I think that was one of the coolest parts was finding all these ways to include our friends in this weekend celebration, having our friends and family there to like barbecue and hang out while we did the whole Saturday setup and stuff.
yep.
And then just having all of the friends that we had performing at our wedding during our photos. We had friends that were doing solo sets, sharing their,
Yeah.
music for all of our friends and family to kind of entertain everybody while we were taking pictures so they weren't just like waiting around like when's the food coming. And then we had, a lot of our friends here work in the service industry, they're bartenders and things
Yep.
like that
Yep.
here
Yep.
downtown. So we had some of our friends that were kind enough to help us run the bar throughout the night. We split it up into shifts, so like nobody had to be there the whole night, but everybody got like a short kind of shift to be able to. I think it was fun to just rotate through, and
Yeah.
I remember talking to people later, and they were like, "Oh, Max and Johnny Mac and some of like they were hilarious." Working the bar, like they were just, they're crazy, and so it was fun to include our
Yeah.
friends throughout the day and the weekend, from everything from the writers round to working the wedding to performing at the wedding to just being out there on the dance floor with us.
Yeah.
Having them all be a part of it was really cool.
I think one of my favorite parts too was just we have friends from all over, all different backgrounds. You know, most of them have not met each other. It's like the ones in Nashville maybe know each other, but to see when you looked around our dance floor, you thought they all had been best friends forever.
Like
Cause
they'd known each other since kindergarten.
yeah, it was like everybody. Sometimes you go to weddings and there's these random like circles on the dance floor.
There was no clickiness.
There was
like,
no click,
yeah.
which is us. Like we love everybody, and so and I think we're always trying to include everybody. So it was neat to see that of like there was one big circle the whole night, and it was just like wild and cool and fun and it was exactly what we wanted. So
And a lot of that was, help too of, I think Olivia helped with your hair and
Yep.
stuff, one of your bridesmaids. And
Yep.
I think TJ helped us find the DJ.
The DJ.
We were getting
Yeah.
real close to the wedding and hadn't
Getting
found a
real
DJ
scary.
yet. And TJ was like, hey, I think
Yeah.
I have a guy that might, be a good fit. And I was like,
My friend Alexa.
Hallelujah.
Yeah, my friend Alexa has like the most impeccable eye for detail, and she does flowers, and she did all our flowers. Her and her husband like just did a phenomenal job, and so it was neat. Yeah, to lean on the strengths of the people that are around us was really like really. I think it really shone through our wedding, or maybe
yeah.
yeah.
I think so much of the wedding was us and our life. Like, I mean, the catering, the food
Oh, yeah.
is from Nachos in Franklin was like, we go
The
there every
best.
Sunday night. We go to church at Conduit at 5 p.m. every Sunday. And then we go to the go get dinner there after. And we're like, this food is so good. And just one night we were there and do you guys have do you have any catering, have any like catering menu we could look at? And they were just really kind and sat down with us and put together a whole list of what we could do and what our options were. And it was amazing. So the dinner we're having is the dinner we have every Sunday night,
Yeah.
As a couple. And we're getting to share that meal with all of our friends and family. And just Kyle running the whole service,
Yeah.
doing the ceremony. He's a chaplain at our church, and we did Wednesday morning at 6 a.m. at Panera. We did premarital
Yeah.
counseling with him,
Did it for a while. Yeah.
and to get to have him, kind of put the service together, run the service, and bring his family as well too, to share in that day. So it was I feel like every piece of the wedding was somehow connected to like our lives,
Yeah.
not just like someone we found on Facebook Marketplace or something. It was like people that we either were referred to or like that we are close with and
Yeah.
have relationships with, which is really cool.
I think if you look at the whole day, I appreciate that it was just a reflection of us because I think you can easily get caught up when you're planning a wedding of making it, making somebody else happy. And I think that's advice that I got too is like, it's your wedding, it's your day, do it your way.
Yeah.
Like, and I think we did in a way that was like, our ceremony was super God focused, and that's us. And, we had all of nieces and nephews, except for I think one that was way too young to be in the wedding. But, it's like it included all the people we love and just, um, there was so much about that day that just, when you look back, you're like, yep, that was a Chris and Shauna wedding.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, just the music we picked, I feel like we spend a lot of time picking the music coming down the aisle. Like,
We were road tripping, just like putting together songs for the reception of like what we have
yeah,
to like. Okay, let's save that song. We definitely need to have that song at the
that's a good
reception.
one. Yeah,
We had Lori was our wedding coordinator for
she was so
the
great.
day of coordinator, and she was incredible. I think that took so much pressure off of us to be
Yeah,
able to just enjoy the day, enjoy the weekend, and
yeah,
not have to worry about things going wrong. And she was just constantly running around putting out fires and
yep,
taking care of everything so that we didn't have to deal with anything other than just having a great time. And that's another, just part of our lives included in the wedding was when I moved to Nashville 7 years ago. She was my boss when I
yeah,
took a job at a parking garage downtown, trying to just get my foot in the door here in Nashville. And although I hadn't worked for her in 4 or 5 years or so, she was like, "Hey, I would love to be there, and I'd love to volunteer to run everything and be an
yeah.
event coordinator for you for the day of.
She's
I
the
love
best.
doing it, and I've done a lot of it, and that was just really kind of her, and I feel like it was a huge help too.
Yeah, I just remember being in my bridal suite, and I mean, my girls were so great. There was no drama. Like, I don't even know if that's a thing in bridal suites, but like, my girls were so great. They were running around. Like, Emily was bringing me bone broth because I was like, I will not faint on my wedding day, but I don't want to eat a lot. So I was like sipping bone broth, getting protein. And Lori would run in and be like, okay, I have this. Do you need this? And then I had one of my friends steaming my dress over here. And I just feel like everybody was so great at just like showing up for us that day. And you had all the guys over at our friend's house just hanging out and probably being chill.
Yeah,
You
it
know,
was great.
the bridal suite was like lots of snacks, lots of hair curling, and I had the best makeup artist and spray tan artist, and just like even those, I feel like it's like you stress out so much about all the little things. And then the day of, when you see it all come together, like I had the perfect dress, he had the perfect suit, like everything was just so perfect, and it all came together. And
Even that was like part of the budgeting thing of, I looked and I'm like, it's like $200-300 for some of these suits to
to
like
rent,
rent a
right? Yeah,
suit. And so I went and piece by pieced together a suit that you could buy for like $200, I think it was. And I was
yeah,
like, it's cheaper than a rental and they'll get to keep it. So it's like at least they're getting something for their money spent.
yeah.
So just trying to feel like how we could be the smartest and, make our money stretch the furthest that we're spending and investing in this day.
Yeah, and we were so grateful. Like I said, we worked hard. We had some family members that helped out with different pieces of the wedding, and we didn't have any debt. And that was
Yeah.
so amazing. And we just felt, I just remember like we felt so blessed. Like we
I
ended
think
the
both of our
wedding.
families helped a lot
Yeah,
with that. It was a huge blessing to.
yeah. And even the like, we went into the honeymoon with gifts from people, and like we didn't go into debt on our honeymoon either. So like we did wedding straight into honeymoon, and
We were in
yeah,
Belize and getting the Venmos of we want to buy you dinner on your honeymoon or things
yeah.
like that. I'm like, oh, this is amazing. Like
Yeah.
our photographer was amazing.
Oh,
Ellie
Ellie was so
crushed
great.
it.
Yeah, we found her through the Instagram of the venue, and I was like, the photos that are taken of that couple are the best. And then I clicked on it and it tagged her, and I was like, "Yep, that's who we're gonna have."
Yeah.
And thankfully, she was so great. We're so grateful for Ellie. She did our engagement shoot
Trying to think of
together.
other vendors. We
I
did a
know.
Whole Foods cake.
Oh, that was
Our wedding cake was Whole Foods.
That was a
And
recommendation of Tamara.
that cake is one of the best cakes I've ever had in my life. We have it in the fridge right now, too. We just had a barbecue the other day and there's leftover. We had the same cake. And I'm like, it's really good. And like, you're not paying $1,000 for
Yeah.
like 5-story cake.
Oh,
You know?
I almost forgot. We had a bunch of our friends locally all brought desserts for like a dessert table.
Yeah. The
So
little
like
dessert
the
buffet
desserts
kind of
were
thing.
kind of like a dessert buffet. Yeah, just another testament of how great our friends are. So, I think that should be a wrap on this
Yeah.
one. Yeah.
If you have any other questions or
Yeah. You wanna
wonder
know
anything else about wedding
wedding?
planning or wedding planning in general or our specific wedding, we're
Yeah.
experts on our wedding. I don't know if we're experts on wedding planning in general, but
We definitely
we can tell you what worked and what didn't work for us.
I had a word spreadsheet that we called the brain dump sheet, and my mom and I had it, and she would call me or I'd call her on my way to work almost every day on my way, and she'd be like, "Okay, what are we working on today?" And she would go work on stuff, and we'd talk about it, and then we'd talk about it, and like it was just constant of like a constant working flow to make that happen. But yep,
Yeah.
best day of our lives.
Best day ever.
Yep.
Yep.
All right. Well, that's a wrap for episode number
5
5. Oh, can't
for
reach.
Perrine party of 2. Have a great week and
We'll
we will
see
see
you
you
next
guys soon and we'll have another episode coming your way.
Yeah, I'm sure we'll talk about new married life or something fun like
Maybe
that.
we'll talk about the honeymoon.
Oh, I forgot about that. Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Adios.